enforcement sits inside a much larger strategy involving resources, trade routes, and the control of economic systems that shape global power. For years, pressure was applied quietly. Sanctions hardened, financial channels narrowed, energy markets shifted, China's economic footprint expanded across South America. Venezuela did not suddenly become important. It became unavoidable. What appears abrupt is the final move in a long sequence, where negotiation gave way to force and market logic replaced diplomacy. This report examines why this happened now, not earlier. Why oil denomination, currency systems, and China's role in the hemisphere sit at the center of the decision, even when official explanations keep changing. And why the contradictions between public statements reveal more than the statements themselves. Right now, across every news network, you're watching the same story on repeat. Special forces descending from the sky, a Latin American president in handcuffs, commentators praising tactical precision and strategic brilliance. They want you focused on the spectacle, on the daring raid, on the military success. Because if you're watching the helicopters, you're not watching the balance sheet. This wasn't regime change for democracy. This wasn't about human rights violations or drug cartels. This was a debt collection operation with gunships. There's an old rule in geopolitics that everyone pretends doesn't exist. You cannot sanction the countries that control your vital resources. Not forever, not without.
That's interesting. What did he say? Debt collection. What's the matter, honey? What's the matter, baby? An airplane must have crashed. Who's this guy? The Inside Brief. I don't know who this is. I've never listened to him before. But let's see. We're going to subscribe because it's a brand new, different perspective. Oh, it's a systems analysis. Debt collection, he said. Operation. A debt collection operation. Well, how come?
Without consequences. For 23 years, the United States tried to defy this rule. They sanctioned Venezuela. They froze assets. They recognized parallel governments. They funded opposition movements. They did everything except the one thing they just did. Until this week, when all of that collapsed in the most revealing way possible. On December 28th, Nicolas Maduro signed energy agreements with China worth $18 billion.
Ew, okay.
2 days later, Jake Sullivan, the National Security Advisor, quietly requested a meeting with Venezuelan officials in Panama, not to threaten, not to impose conditions, to negotiate access to oil that Washington has spent 2 decades trying to destroy. What you're witnessing is not diplomacy. It's capitulation that got interrupted by helicopters. The media has been selling you a story for years. They told you the shale revolution made America energy independent. They told you the United States is now the world's largest oil producer and therefore doesn't need to care about the Middle East or Latin America anymore. This is a half-truth. And in geopolitics, a half-truth is a full lie.
I feel like this is maybe an AI talking. Why do I think that? Are there any clues in the image? I'm not sure yet, but I think it is.
The United States does produce massive amounts of oil, but it produces light, sweet crude. It's like champagne, bubbly, light.
There it is. It produces light, sweet crude. It's the rhythm of the speaker that gives it away to me. But let's see.
Expensive to extract, and not what American refineries were built to process. The problem is this.
The blinking in the eyes. Yeah, it's an AI.
The massive refineries in Texas and Louisiana, the industrial backbone of American energy, were built 50 years ago. They were designed to process heavy, sour crude, the thick, sludge-like oil that comes from Venezuela and the Middle East. America produces champagne, but its engines run on diesel. For decades, they...
Okay, I'm just going to go over it. It says, the system analysis, this is called the Inside Brief, is AI-generated speaker I believe we're going to look at the bottom. Sound or visuals were significantly edited or digitally generated. So yes, you can see that. And what does it say? This analysis examines what happened in Venezuela through a systems lens, not the personalities or politics, but the economic structures that drove this moment. We explore why oil denomination, not oil volume, sits at the center of the operation, how the petrodollar system that has sustained American economic dominance for 50 years is fracturing, and why this single military action may have accelerated the global transition away from dollar dependence. About strategic ledger. Strategic ledger breaks down the forces shaping our economic lives, beyond slogans, beyond talking points, and beyond surface-level explanations. We analyze how policy choices and market forces shape real lives, focusing on consequences rather than political theater. No hype, no outrage cycles, just clear analysis, historical context, and long-term thinking about what's really happening beneath the headlines. All right, should we finish listening to it, you guys? I mean, we're 3.5 minutes in, and it's 23 minutes long.
Solved this by importing heavy crude from Saudi Arabia, but that relationship is effectively dead. Saudi Arabia is no longer the gas station of the West. Riyadh is cutting production to keep prices high. They're joining BRICS. They're ignoring calls from Washington. The Saudi prince has made it very clear he's no longer interested in being a vassal state. So the United States faced a mathematical problem. They were running out of the specific type of oil needed to keep their refineries running at capacity. And worse, they had already played their emergency card. Over the last 2 years, the administration drained the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. The SPR is meant for war. It's meant for national emergencies. It is not meant to buy votes by artificially lowering gas prices before. Global oil has been priced in US dollars. This system, called the petrodollar, creates automatic demand for American currency. Every country that needs oil needs dollars to buy it. That demand allows the United States to borrow cheaply, print money without immediate dollars, export the inflation to the rest of the world, and never face the consequences.
Supper's ready, and so we're out. We're done this. And listening to AI is no